Shalom, shalom. We continue in Maseches Taanis. We are doing Yud Daled Amud Beis today. We are starting on Yud Daled Amud Aleph and 14a in the very last line. And guys, I'm telling you, this Amud is awesome. I had so much fun preparing this, and I cannot wait to get into it and learn it with you guys. So it's very important to pay attention to some of the names, as it is on any Amud and any Daf and Gemara. But today especially, as we're going to see, and I'm going to bring up some of the important details to you, but the names on this Amud are going to be very important, and also having a good grasp of certain things in Tanakh are also going to be very important, and I'll try to give some of the background as we reach it. So with that in mind, let's get right into it. Bishnei de Rabbi Yehuda Nesiya, during the years of Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi, in other words, who was one of the grandchildren of Rebbe Havatzara. There was a certain kind of a pain that was happening to the Bnei Yisrael. Gazar Talas Esrei Ta'anios. So he decreed, he established 13 fast days for the people. The lo ayane, and they were not answered. Savar lemigzar tfei. He thought he was gonna. He wanted to give them more fast days after 13. Amrli Rav Ami, and Rav Ami said, Hare Amru. We already have a halacha from the Chachamim. Ein matrichin es hatzibur yoter midai. We don't bother the tzibur more than this. 13 fasts is it, and after that we don't give them more fasts after that. Amar Rav Abba, Berei de Rav Chia bar Abba. Rabbi Ami David, the thing that Rabbi Ami did, meaning when he told the grandson of Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi, when he told him that he's not allowed to establish any more fast days, Li Garmehu David, he did that for himself. In other words, he himself did not want to fast. He wasn't in the mood anymore, and it's kind of interesting to think about an Amora in this way. But this is what he did. He told Rabbi Yehuda, you're not allowed to make more fast days. What you did, that's it. Ella Hachi Amar Rabbi Chia bar Abba Amar Rabbi Yochanan Lo Shanu Ella Ligshamin. The fact that the idea that we're not allowed to do more than 13 fasts for the tzibur is only for gishamim. Aval l'shar minei peronios, but for any other type of punishment, mit'anin v'hochin ad sheyanu min hashemayim. We go and we continue fasting until we get our answer from heaven. So whatever the other trouble is, maybe it's a siege, maybe it's a famine, maybe it's whatever it is. We keep going and keep fasting even after 13 fasts until we get our answer. We also learned the same in a brisa. Kisha Amru Shalosh, when the Mishnah said 3, meaning first 3 fasts, second 3 fasts, Ukisha Amru Sheva, and when the Mishnah said 7 fast days, Lo Amru El Gishamin. That's only referring to rain. But for any other kind of punishment, we continue fasting until we get our answer. So maybe this serves as refutation for Rabbi Ami, because he said we don't go further. We stop at 13. So Amar Lacha Rabbi Ami. So now you have to imagine again that the person who's compiling the Gemara, Rabbi Ami, wasn't ever asked this question. He never gave an answer to this. But the compiler of the Gemara is writing, what would Rabbi Ami say if he were here and asked this question? Does he have an answer? Yes, he does have an answer. Amar Lacha Rabbi Ami. Rabbi Ami could say to you, Tanaihi. This is a machlokas tanoim. You hold like one Tana, I hold like another Tana. But I'm totally fine to have the opinion that I said. The Taanis went in a brisa. Ein gozun yoter mishloshes Taanios ala tzibur. We don't give more than 13 fasts to the tzibur. Lefisha ein matrichin es tzibur yoter midai, because we don't want to burden them too much. Divrei Rebbe, and that's according to Rebbe. That's according to Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. Again, the grandfather of the Amora that Rabbi Ami spoke to initially. This is why I said the names are very important in this Gemara. And Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel Omer Lo min hashemayim. Who's that? This is not the real reason. This is not. This is Lo min Hashem. Who's that? It's not the same reason. It's not true. But we only stop at 13 because that's when the time for rain is over. We don't want rain in the dry season. As we said, if rain hasn't fallen the entire dry season and rain starts falling in Nisan, that's Siman Klala. So why would we continue fasting and asking for rain after that time? It doesn't make any sense. So that's why 13 fasts for rain is dafka. That's it. But for any other problem, it's lav dafka. Shachu le bnei Ninveh l'Rebbe. The people of Ninveh sent a letter to Rebbe. You might recognize Nineveh as the city that Yonah, the Navi, was sent to in the book of Yonah, which we read every Yom Kippur. Just like us, so even during the Tkufa of Tammuz that we need rain. What should we do? Now, Tammuz is in the middle of the dry season. Are we like individuals? Or kirabim daminan? Or are we like the majority? What does that mean? Are we like individuals? Where we insert the special bracha for rain in Shomea, or the special bracha for the Taanis in Shomea Tefillah? O Karabim Daminan, or are we like the Rabbin with Berchas Hashanim? Then we put the bracha in the special bracha for the Taanis in Berchas Hashanim. Answer, Shalach Lahu, he sent back to them, Ki Yechidim Damisu, you are like individuals, Uve Shomea Tefillah, and you put it into Shomea Tefillah. So this is all what Rebbe, or Yehuda Nasi, the author of the Mishnah, sent back to the people of Nineveh. Meisvei, they raised the contradiction against Rebbe. Now, Meisvei means a contradiction raised from a Tana. A Tana has a different opinion against an Amora. Amar Rebbe Yehuda. Rebbe Yehuda says, Eimasai, when does this apply? When do these fasts and these orders apply? Bizman shashanim ketiknan. In a time when the years are normal, meaning normal as we experience them in Eretz Yisrael, when the years follow the season, not like in Australia when the seasons are completely flipped, right? V'Yisrael shurin alad masan, and the Jews are living on their land. Aval b'zman hazeh, but nowadays hakol lefi hashanim, everything is according to the years, meaning whatever the climate, whatever the seasons are in your place, in your part of the world, that's the way you should be asking for rain. Hakol lefi hamakomos, everything is according to the places. Hakol lefi hazman, everything is like the time of the year. So this is the contradiction. So how could Rebbe tell the Bnei Nineveh that they should be davening in that way when when Yehuda here clearly has a very different understanding of this issue? Amar lei. So he said to him, Masnisa Ramis Alahad Rebbe, are you bringing a Mishnah to disprove Rebbe? Rebbe Tana hu apalik. Rebbe is a Tana himself, and he can argue. Rebbe is allowed to argue with Tanoim. Well, us in our generation, meaning in a few generations after Rebbe, they were not allowed to argue with Tanaim anymore. Rebbe himself was a Tana, and he could. So, so just like before, this could be a machlokas Tanaim, Rebbe having his opinion, and Rabbi Yehuda having another opinion. My Havayallah, so what do they end up doing? Rav Nachman said, Birchas Hashanim, that they say it in Birchas Hashanim, and Rav Sheshes Amar Shomea Tefillah. Rav Sheshes said in Shomea Tefillah. So again, we don't really have a conclusion. We have a machlokas Tanoim, which comes down as a machlokas Amoraim. So what's the end, the bottom line halacha, the hilchasa? This is the halacha. This Shomea Tefillah. They put the special bracha in Shomea Tefillah. Now we go back to the Mishnah, and we continue. I think we're going to have the Mishnah one more time come up on this Amud, and then we're going to go all the way to the end of the parak. B'sheni matin im chashecha. On Monday, they close the doors or rather they open the shop slightly once it gets dark. Uvachamishi kol hayom mipnei kvod Shabbos. But on Thursday they keep the stores the whole day open because of honoring the Shabbos. They want people to be able to go to buy the Shabbos through the challah, whatever they need. The question was asked, Hechi Katani, how do we understand this Mishnah? B'sheni matin im chashecha, that on Monday they open slightly when it gets dark. V'chamishi kol hayom mipnei kvod Shabbos, and on Thursday it's open the entire day because of kvod Shabbos. O dama, or maybe b'sheni matin, that on Monday they're open a little bit the whole day. Uv'chamishi poschin kol hayom kolo, and on Thursday they're open the entire day, meaning wide open, partially open on Mondays and all the way open on Thursdays, or on Monday is it only open slightly once it gets dark. Tashma coming here. The Tani we learned in a brisa. B'sheni matin ad ha'erev. On Mondays they open slightly until the evening. Uv'chamishi poschin kol hayom kolo, and on Thursday they open up the entire day mipnei kvod Shabbos because of the honor on Shabbos. Hayelo shnei pesachim. If a person had two doors in his shop, pesach echad v'noal echad, he should open one and close another. Hayelo itztava keneged pischo. If he had a bench or a chair or a stand next to his door, poseach kedarko, ve'eno choshesh. You can open normally and not worry, because if there's a bench in front of the door, it's not so readily noticeable that the door is open, and he's allowed to keep it there and have the door fully open the entire day. We go on to the next part of the Mishnah. Avru elu v'lo ne'enu. If these fast days pass and were not answered, mima'atin b'masa v'matan. We lessen our business dealings, ulevinyan uvinitia, and we lessen building and planting. Tana, so we learned in a brisa, bibinyan. What is meant by binyan? Binyan shel simcha. That's a happy building. Nitiya, and what's nitiya? Nitiya shel simcha. It's a happy planting. So ezehu binyan shel simcha. Ezehu binyan shel simcha. What's a building of happiness? Zahabona bes chasanos livna. That's someone who builds a house for his son who's getting married. Ezohi nitiya shel simcha. And what's a planting of happiness? Zehanotea avarniki shel melachim. This is a kind of a tree that they used to plant when the children of the kings were born, and this tree would grow, and when the son would become king, they would chop down this tree and turn it into a throne for the new king. And that was considered a very joyous planting, but during this time, after 13 fasts have passed and were not answered, we do not plant such things. We also don't greet people with very happy faces. We don't greet each other on the street. That's another thing the Mishnah said. Tana Rabbanan, the rabbis taught chaverim that Talmidei Chachamim ein she'ela shalom b'neihem. They don't greet each other. Ami ha'aretz sholin, and the people who don't know so much Torah, who do greet each other, and who come and greet you, machzir lehen b'safa rafa uvekovid rosh. You can answer them with very low voice and with a very serious head. Vehein misatfin veyoshvin ka'avelin uchimenudin. They would wrap their heads and sit like mourners and like people who were excommunicated. Kivnei adam hanizufin lamakom, just like a place who were kicked out of a certain place. Ad sheyirachum alehem min hashemayim, until they're shown rachamim, compassion from Hashem. Amar Rav Elazar says, "Ein adam chashuv rashai lipol al panav." That an important man is not allowed to fall on his face. Ela im ne'aneh ki Yeshua ben Nun, unless he knows he's going to be answered, that his tefillah will be answered like Yeshua ben Nun. Shenamar, as it says, "Vayomer Hashem al Yeshua, kum lech." Hashem said, "Yeshua, come, get up." Lama zata nofel al panecha. Why are you falling on your face? In other words, your tefillah is already answered. You can get up. You don't have to fall on your face anymore. Rabbi Elazar says, "Ein adam chashav rashai lachgar sak." An important man is not allowed to put on sackcloth. Ela im ne'anek Yehoram ben Achav, unless he knows he's going to be answered like Yehoram ben Achav. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk, "Vayiki shomil hamelach as divra Aisha." When the king heard the words of the woman, vayikra es begadav, he tore his clothing. Vaya over al hachoma, and he walked by the stone wall. Vayar ha'am, and the people looked. Vihine hasak al b'saro, and the king had sackcloth on his flesh. And it's a very off-putting image. Imagine if you see someone very important, the king, the president, the governor, somebody you look up to, who's wearing torn clothing and very uncomfortable clothing, and he's walking around, he's very sad. It's a very off-putting image. So that's the image that gets people to start really considering and thinking, what are they doing? Are they taking this seriously enough? So let's talk a little bit about the background here, because this is where having Tanakh in your hand really comes in handy. Yehoram was the king of Israel. Elisha sent a famine to the land. There was no rain, there was no food, there was no crops. And this woman comes to Achav, and she tells him, and this is all in Sefer Malachim Beis, Perek Vav. You can look it up. It's very sad, very scary story. And the woman was complaining to the king. She said, "I had a son, and I had a friend, another woman, and this woman told me, today we have no food, let's eat your son, and tomorrow we will eat my son." I said, "Okay, we have nothing better to do, we're desperate." So on day 1, we cooked my son. On day 2, today's day 2, and she's not letting me eat her son. So Yehoram realized how crazy and horrible the situation was. He put on sackcloth. The story goes on to say that he was going to send people to kill Elisha for bringing such a horrible famine to the land. And Elisha comes back and he restores he fixes the famine. That's how the story goes. So that is the background for that story. Amar Reb Elazar. Reb Elazar says, Loha kol b'kriya. Not everybody can tear their clothing. Loha kol b'nefila. Not everybody can fall on their face. These are all different types of tefillah. Moshe of Aaron b'nefila. Moshe and Aaron were answered through falling on their face, and Yeshua v'kalev b'kriya. Yeshua and Kalev were answered by tearing their clothing. This is talking about the time when they come back to Eretz Yisrael from the story of the Meraglim. Moshe of Aaron b'nefila. Moshe and Aaron were answered through falling on their face. It says, "Vayipol Moshe v'Aaron al panehem." Moshe and Aaron fell on their faces. Yeshua v'Kalev b'kriya. It says in the pasuk, "V'Yeshua benun v'Kalev ben Yefuna karu v'dehem." Yeshua benun and Kalev, they tore their clothing. Maskifla Rav Zera. Rav Zera challenged this. V'Tema Rav Shmuel bar Nachmani. Some say Rav Shmuel bar Nachmani challenged this. He have a cuss of Yehoshua. If the pasuk said Yehoshua, Kizikamaris, it would have been as you said. Hasha dichsib Yehoshua, but since there's an extra vav in front of Yehoshua, ha the ha adid. That means that Yeshua and Kalev did both. They tore their clothing and they fell on their faces. V'amar Rev Elazar says, Loha kol b'kima. Not everybody will stand. V'loha kol b'hishtachavai. Not everyone will bow. Melachim b'kima. This is talking about people, the nations of the world, who will come and show and give great honor and respect to Mashiach, that B'mher v'yameinu should come quickly, that when Mashiach comes, many nations of the world will come and give honor and respect, but not everybody will be allowed to stand and bow to such a prominent individual. Melachim b'kima, the kings will rise for him, v'sarim v'shtachavaya, and the ministers will bow down to him. Melachim b'kima, the kings will rise. It says, Ko amar Hashem, so says Hashem, Goel Yisrael, the Redeemer of Israel, Kidosho, the Holy One. This is what he says. La visa nefesh, to those who are disgraced souls. L'mita'ev goy, to those who the nations abhor. La eved moshlim, those who serve slaves. Melachim yiru v'kamu, to that nation the kings will see and rise up. The sarim b'ishtachavaya, and the sarim, the ministers, will bow down to them. It says, sarim v'ishtachavu, the sarim, and they will bow. Maskif la Rabbi Zera. Rabbi Zera is the problem. V'tema Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachmani, and again some say Shmuel bar Nachmani. Ihava kasa this sarim ishtachavu. If it said, and the sarim will bow down, kitika amaris, then it would have been as you said. Hashtar dichsiv sarim v'ishtachavu. Now that it says sarim and the vav is on v'ishtachavu, not on sarim. That the vav is and they bow down, not and the princes will bow. It's the princes and they will bow, right? Hava ha'avid. Because the vav is placed there, they will do both. They will both rise for the Melech HaMashiach and they will bow down to him. Amar Rav Nachman Yitzchak says, Afani Omer, I also say, Loha kol ha'ora v'loha kol ha'simcha. Not everyone will get light and not everyone will get happiness. Tzadikim la'ora, v'yesharim l'simcha. The tzadikim, the righteous, will get lights, and the yesharim, the ones who are very on the straight and narrow path, they will get happiness. Tzadikim la'ora, how do we know that righteous will get light? It says, or zarua la tzadik, that light is plowed for the tzadik. La yesharim simcha, and how do we know that the yesharim will get simcha? It says, ula yishrei leiv simcha, the one who is straight in his heart will get happiness. So this is an incredible Amud, very interesting. And with that, we hadron alach me'emasai, we get to the end of the parak. But just to give one slightly deeper layer of depth to this Gemara, perhaps, and this is just my understanding of it, we had a previous idea in the Gemara that the people who don't engage in the tsar of the tzibur, the ones who don't engage in the problem of the tzibur, will not experience the simcha of the tzibur. And I think that this is kind of what this Gemara is talking about, right? In kind of these three steps, as we saw at the end of this Gemara, step number one was the tearing of clothing and the falling on one's face in tefillah. I think that's a reference to the birth pangs, the Chevlei Mashiach that happened towards the end of days, that when the Jews are experiencing lots of problems and suffering, we'll be tearing our clothing, we'll be davening and bowing down on our faces, and that's what that's referencing. Next part of the Gemara is talking about the kings and the Sarim who are going to come and stand and bow down to the Melech HaMashiach. That's the next phase of history when the Mashiach comes and we have that going on. And then finally, the third thing, the Tzadikim and the Yesharim who get Or and Simcha, I believe that's a reference to Olam Haba and the way that the Tzadikim and the Yesharim will dwell in the presence of the Shekhinah and will get happiness in that way. This is my understanding. I could be wrong, but this is what the Gemara seems to be saying. So with that, again, I love this Gemara. I love this Amud. I thought that was clear. I had a lot of fun in this parak. And we'll continue tomorrow into Parak Bays on Tesvav Amud Aleph. Hope that was clear. Hope you all have a wonderful day.